Hello, and God bless you. Well, and God bless these women who came to the tomb Sunday morning. They see the stone rolled away. What does that mean? Well, maybe we can anoint his body after all. But they go into the tomb and his body's gone. And they are thoroughly confused. And then all of a sudden there are these two dazzling white figures, scares the life out of those ladies. Boom, to the ground they go. And then these wonderful words, "Why are you looking for the living one among the dead? He is not here. He has risen." Remember how he spoke to you while he was in Galilee, saying the Son of Man, that's a divine term, remember, must be delivered to the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and the third day again. And they remembered his words. And they returned from the tomb and reported all these things to the 11 and all the rest. Now, something is very special here. Some would say that the accounts of the resurrection, and by the way, Christianity dies or lives on the resurrection. If the resurrection can be thoroughly disproven, then what does Paul say? If Christ is not risen, we Christians are above all people to be pitied. We've wasted our time. Forget it. Just forget it. But here it is. These women see the empty tomb, and they are the first witnesses. Now, this speaks greatly to the veracity, to the truth of these Gospels, because no one, and when I say no one, I mean no one in that day would have written a story trying to make it look historical, trying to make it look real, and had women be the first witnesses. Because the first reaction to that by everyday Jews of that time would have been, whatever those women say doesn't matter because they're women. Women cannot be witnesses. You think we're going to trust them? So the fact that God has seen fit that women would be the last at the cross and the first at the tomb, only God would do that. Only God would do that. No one who was trying to write a story that they wanted to be seen as true and they were making it up, it would have never, 1 in a million would never have been women. But here, what is God doing? He is elevating the status of women. He's saying you can believe it or not, but he's elevating their status. But what a privilege to be the first witnesses of the resurrection. So let's see how this goes. They returned from the tomb and reported all these things to the 11. Now, Judas is gone, remember, so it's 11. And to all the rest. Now, they were Mary Magdalene and Joanna and Mary, the mother of James. Also, the other women were with them, telling these things to the apostles. Now, watch this. In verse 11, this is a typical Jewish man of that day. But these words appeared to them as nonsense, and they would not believe them. As far as Peter and John and the rest of them were concerned, it was women. And you just don't, you know how emotional women can get, and you just don't want to believe them. Okay? Well, they were right. The women got it right. But I'm going to just put a little parentheses in here, just in case there's something truthful about it. Peter got up and ran to the tomb. Stooping in, he saw the linen wrappings only, and he went away to his home, marveling at what had happened. So now we leave that story right there, okay? But isn't it tragic that the men did not believe the women, all of them? Jesus had said he would rise from the dead. And let me just say, this is what our prejudices can do. This is how we can not believe truth when we should believe it. We have to be very careful when we are presented with truth from someone that we not allow any prejudice as to a person's maybe lack of education, color of their skin, their language, what kind of home they have, what kind of car they drive. There are a lot of things that can prejudice us to doubt, whereas we would have believed before. So it's good to check things out. But I think it's probably safe to say that if these had been men, reliable men, and these women were reliable. In fact, how reliable were they? They were so reliable that some of them remained at the cross when all the men except John took off. So some of these women had already proved their faithfulness. They had proved their faithfulness by being in the ministry with Jesus and supporting Jesus' ministry financially. They'd proven it. But these men, the 11 and the others, they weren't going to believe it. But Peter, and we know from the other Gospels, Peter and John, start thinking, just maybe. And so they go and check it out themselves. And he is risen. Aren't you glad that the Lord does not condemn us for our doubts? But when we have doubts, even maybe we shouldn't have doubts, but when we do, let's do what Peter and John did. Let's run to the tomb. Let's find out. Let's make sure. Let's look at the evidence. And then we'll know. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. May the Lord be with you today. May he fill you with his Spirit. May he bring someone into your life that you can pray with and share Jesus with. Amen.